Hello. Hey, what's going on? Hey, this is your introvert Boricua. This is a bit of an impromptu, kind of like a venting session, so to speak. Can you hit the? Can you give me a one in the comments if you hear me fine? Because I know the last time I was participating in one of Jose's streams, he couldn't hear me too good, so I have been tinkering with my setup. All right, Jose. Hey, appreciate you commenting in the chat. What's going on, Titi? Titi, you. What's happening? All right, I got the ones. I got the ones. Okay, good, good. All right. No, it's just that sometimes one needs to talk certain things out. Um, so you don't keep it all inside because that's not healthy to do. Now I know that you saw the thumbnail. I put it clear enough. There is a reason for it. Um, it's just something that happened today, early today. I mean, um, uh, I was calling the neurosurgeon that I have been seeing to do follow up uh, on this surgical procedure that I need done. Um, I hadn't talked to him in a while. I have been dealing with some other stuff, and the 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 discomfort that I have been dealing with, it was under control. But I was calling him earlier today, and in the office, after I say, "Well, I need to see the doctor." Shout out and rest in peace to Doctor Bridwell. And I was trying to explain the young lady on the other side and of the line, and she says, "I apologize, but he passed away." Like what? What? It like it's one of those things that you just don't expect. You just don't expect that. It kind of shook me up. It shook me up. I will admit. Uh, maybe maybe it's because of the fact that I have already been dealing with mourning. I've been mourning a couple of people for a while, and now if I learn of somebody else that passes away, it hit me hard, even if I don't know the person that well. Uh, no, that's the thing. That's the thing. The guy, the neurosurgeon, he wasn't old. I think he was younger than me. I think he was younger than me, and I had been to a couple of the. I don't know the cause of death. I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't ask. So I don't know. It could have been an accident. But I think he was younger than me actually, maybe in his 40s or so. Yeah. So I don't. It kind of shook me off because maybe when one is in the middle of mourning a couple of other people at the same time, and one doesn't know what to think, what to say, and I needed a couple of minutes. I still needed to uh, handle what it is that I needed to handle, what the call was about. I still needed to do something about that. Um, but when I was first told by the secretary, I was like, "What? What? What?" I couldn't think for a minute. But yeah. Shout out to him. Rest in peace to him. And yeah, I don't know. He didn't look like it. Again, remembering him, he looked like he was younger than me. Like he was in my age group, but most likely younger. It happens. It happens in threes. Yeah, yeah. I've heard about that. I heard about that. So kind of, yeah, yeah, kind of getting that out of the way. What's up? What's up with you guys? What's going on? Let me hold on. I couldn't hear it. Okay. Aside from that, no, not much going on. Just surviving, trying not trying to lose my mind with all this madness that's been going on. I think you know what I'm talking about. Uh, it's just that it's been it's been crazy. It's been difficult. So it's kind of something that I wanted to get out there. It's just that there are the obvious. There is the obvious that's going on in society, and this thing that every day is some new shit. Every day is some new shit in the society that we're living in. I mean, my body neither, my body trying to adjust to daylight savings. Yeah, it's not easy to stay sane in same times. That's true. I I, I can call it. Let me. Oh, okay. Let's just stop that opened up by itself. All right. Like I don't even know. I don't even know where to start with it. Keeps me keeps me making content. I love it, and I'm scared all at the same time. Yeah, it gives you. Yeah, it gives you something to comment. It gives you something to comment about. Um, like what was the latest? What was the latest? Whatever comes to mind. Let's talk about it. Put it in the chat. Whatever comes to mind, put it in the chat. Let's talk about it. First, I'll go first. The president using the White House as a car showroom. Yeah, but you know what? That I saw coming. I saw it coming because years ago I noticed that that the president had a lot of smoke for so many people, and like the only people that he will never ever say anything critical about were Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, I don't know if he's eventually is gonna have to choose. I guess he can serve the two masters as long as their interests don't interfere. That he can do things for one and do things for the other, because those may be actually the real presidents, Netanyahu and Putin, because those do can tell Trump what to do. Oh yeah, that totally Tesla car. You know that there is a reason. You know that the truck. There is a reason. There is a reason why raccoons try to break into them. Ever heard of that? Ever heard of raccoons trying to break into those Tesla trucks? Raccoons try to break into them because they have about the same shape as a dumpster. And as we all know, raccoons, they do dumpster diving to eat whatever they can in the trash. Well, apparently there are certain dumpsters that they use in California that have the same shape. That have the same shape as a Tesla truck. You can look it up. I'm not making that up. I remember seeing a video. I remember seeing a video of somebody go up go up to one of the Tesla trucks, and you could see kind of like the little paws imprint by the seams where the door is closed, and you could see that they were trying that there are marks and scratches, and you could see that it was that they were trying to open it. Yeah, it looks like a mini old style army tank. Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah, the thing is that the design is not very original. It's all like all of these angles and straight, a bunch of straight lines. That's something that a kid could have done. A kid could have designed it, and they're not very reliable. They catch on fire, and they have that GPS computer that I don't know if the trucks have the GPS computer that can drive the car itself. I know that the sedans may have the computer, but the but the Cybertruck, I don't know if it has that because it's so big and takes so much space. It's so wide. So I don't know if the computer can make the calculations properly to keep it on on the lane without bumping into other cars because I've seen them. I've seen them up close. They are like excessively big, bigger than uh, uh, I mean, when I say big, more like wider. They're too wide. They take all the all the lane space sidewise. It is. It is Matt Audley. China has an electric car better, prettier, and cost about 50K. Electric and gas. You know, some of those cars because there are like there are a few brands, Chinese brands of cars. Um, they may start to export them to Mexico. Maybe I remember hearing a little something about that. If there are good relations between the Mexican government and the Chinese, they could end up importing some of those Chinese made cars. Now, I don't know about the quality because if the quality if the quality control is not that great, I wouldn't touch those either. I don't trust them. I don't trust cars that are self-driving. There is like a lot of electronics that are involved in that. Um, let me see. Let me see. State of the art. Yeah, little sedans that may not cost too much because the car market here in the United States is shit. I mean, particularly when it comes to pickup trucks. A US made new pickup truck can cost you 80, 100,000, 120,000. That's bullshit. There are still places in this country where you can buy a small house with that money. Yes. There's a blue light to let you know the car is in self-driving mode. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I saw one also in China where like Ubers, cars that Uber do kind of like the Uber thing. They do the Uber by themselves. I don't know how people can afford those trucks in Texas. They can't. Very few people can, and I come across video after video after video of people that do that sell cars, and they're walking around the car dealerships and the lots all full of trucks that they can't sell, and they're stockpiling. They're stockpiling in the dealership parking lots. They're just accumulating. They're just taking up space, but they can't sell them. But they won't reduce the price either. Have you caved in and brought up brought in a truck? Well, eventually I might have to. Eventually, right now I'm driving my little Camry and it runs fine. So I don't know if I'm gonna be replacing that anytime soon because it's older, so it's running fine. So I could get into a new car. I could get into a new car, but I don't know if I will get into one of those trucks. Absolutely not. That's another mortgage. Nah, at least 100 $100 a week. Yeah, yeah. No, I like being able to fill up the gas tank and not have to worry about it for about a week. Yep. And it only takes me like what, $27. At least here, as you know, the gas prices didn't get out of. You get the body. Toyota. Hell yeah. Toyotas are part of the culture, mama. Toyotas are part of the culture. And you know what I saw? I don't know if you ever saw this. You know what I saw when I went to Chicago? I linked up with the 18 letter, and when we stopped at Holcomb Park, the first thing that I saw were these two Suzuki Samurai Jeeps driving by, blasting salsa. That took me back. I hadn't seen those Jeeps since I was a kid, because those were very popular back on the island back in the 80s. The Suzuki Samurais, the Suzuki Samurai Jeeps. And we just got out of the car at Holcomb Park, and I saw two of those driving past us, and I was waving at them like, yeah, yeah, playing salsa. That felt good. That felt good. I hadn't seen those Jeeps in a long, long, long time. Okay. Those are my buddies in the Bronx too. They used to write those in the 80s. Oh, okay, okay. You know what I'm talking about then. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You saw those everywhere now. I don't know if you can still see those on the island, but what you can still see are a few of those Corollas from the 80s and 90s. Some of them are still running around because it's a small island, and maybe because of the humidity and the weather, the it wears out the paint and it doesn't look so great, but it doesn't accumulate that much mileage. So you can be driving that little car for a long time in the island. And they're part of the culture. They're part of the culture. I remember the second time, like the first or second time that I visited the island, um, after I moved out. After I moved out, I remember that I was driving down one of the main highways, and I saw a little Corolla that was from 1977. It had been restored, painted orange. I had never seen one of those so close. It was so cute. It was so cute, little color, little 1977 Corolla. Those were among the first ones. That's right. They never die. They never die. Okay, but going back to what you mentioned with Russia and with Trump being allied to Russia, I said it in a couple of live streams back. I don't know if it was the last one or the previous one that I did. It may have been on your channel, when I specifically said that uh, what's my avatar? Yeah, yeah, orange, because in the 70s those were common. The orange paint jobs were common back then. They don't use them right now, but back then you will see them. You will see whole Corvettes from that time painted orange. But who's your avatar? Okay, yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. But I remember saying it in a previous live stream, the that Putin is Trump's puppy. That's his daddy. I have never ever heard Trump say anything remotely critical of him. Never ever ever. Now, to be fair, when they first started talking about that there might have been Russian intervention in the election, I didn't pay attention to that. I didn't pay attention to that because, yeah, it did come across as a bit of a conspiracy theory, and I didn't want to believe it, and I didn't pay too much attention to it. Um, because I know there are people that just start saying those things, but now, because in the following years, I've never seen Trump criticizing him at all, and there he was meeting with at least the foreign minister, with Putin's foreign minister in Qatar, out in the Middle East. I mean, making decisions about Ukraine without the Ukrainian president. Like, really, really. And there are the allegations. There are the allegations. There are journalists that have alleged that Trump, again, allegation that Trump may have been a Russian asset since the late 80s, and that his code name is Krasnov. I've been hearing that lately. Okay, he's thinking like a. Okay, all right, like a leader, but whatever the reason, I don't think it was okay for him to invade Ukraine. Now, I understand. Sometimes a whole war starts for simple reason. It can be for a simple reason. There is the belief. There is the belief that that NATO may have offered membership into NATO so they could get closer to the Russian border, and that's what he was trying to prevent, and that's why that happened. That's why the war started. Sometimes it can start by a simple reason, but that's what I keep hearing. Not necessarily the USSR, but trying to bring back kind of like a Russian empire, because there used to be an empire before there was the Soviet Union. It used to be an empire, and Russia used to have a monarchy. Also, I understand that they were French speaking for some reason. But yeah, it's kind of like him. I think Putin might be trying to become a monarch, because Russia used to have a monarchy. The Tsars, they were called the Tsar and the Tsarina. Yeah, it was what was called the Soviet bloc. All those Eastern European countries. Yeah. It went as far as Romania. I understand that Romania was part of the Soviet bloc, along with Ukraine, along what used to be Yugoslavia, along with what is, I think, Hungary and Slovenia, I think, and so on. Those are the Eastern European countries. Yep. Poland, no. Poland, no. Poland, no. Yugoslavia, but not Poland. Yugoslavia is now what is called Serbia. The country called Yugoslavia is not there anymore, but now it's what is called Serbia. Bulgaria too. Yes, Bulgaria too. Poland, ¿tú crees? ¿Estás segura? ¿Estás segura? Because like I mentioned before, sometimes a war can start for a very simple reason, and my understanding is that the reason that the Second World War started, it was because Poland was not honoring an economic deal that it had with Germany, and that's what started it. Because that's where the Third Reich got into first. They invaded Poland, but that was because of a deal that was not honored on the part of the Polish. So I don't think it was part of the Soviet Union, because the whole Soviet Union will have come out to defend it. In contrast, Poland and the rest of the Warsaw Pact countries, as well as Mongolia, were from at least 1953 to 1989 or 90 officially independent countries that were allied to the USSR, but weren't. Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, it's kind of like Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia, they they had they were kind of part of them, but they didn't do everything that the Russians wanted them to do. Like for example, when it came to to their weapons, they developed their own rifle. They didn't use an AK. They did use the same caliber. All right. But I said it. I said it. I mean, he's everything that Trump is doing right now is directly beneficial to Putin. I mean, he's trying to go to war with Canada, trying to go to war with Mexico, trying to go to war with the whole NATO. He's threatening, going around threatening everybody. They're all please. No, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. That's all right. Right now, the all of the threats is with the tariff. I'm getting tired of hearing about the freaking tariffs, which it's only messing things up here. It's only messing things up here. Now, a lot of people, you can't tell them anything about the stock exchange because that's for rich people or something like that. Let's be perfectly clear. What happens in the stock exchange, it can affect regular people too. Remember what happened in 1929? The stock exchange crashed, and a lot of people went poor overnight, almost overnight, real poor. And on top of that, the US wanted to do a tariff war with other countries. That was back in the in like 1929, 1930 or so. Like it's like that's what happens with the uneducated when they don't people that don't learn from history are gonna be doomed to repeat it. Well, this este loco is trying to repeat what already happened. He's trying to trigger a depression. It's taking a major hit. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the stock exchange, the Dow Jones lost what, over $3 trillion in like a couple of days. You really don't think that can affect regular people like you and me? The whole stock exchange thing is it's not necessarily only for like the rich people, because yes, there is a lot of money that is traded, millions of dollars that are traded there. Okay, I will have to check it out. But he's doing all this threatening. Now, I understand that he did put the tariffs on Canada, and now he's putting like a $25 billion tariff on Western Europe. He's doing Putin's bidding, man. I mean, Putin must be loving this. And I said it. I mean, Trump looks up to Putin. Putin is what Trump wants to be. And the thing is that we're going to have to pay the consequences for that. Yeah, maldito loco, sí. Remember BRICS. There is talk that maybe Mexico might join them. The thing is that Trump has threatened tariffs on Mexico, and both, like a couple of times, and both times Claudia Sheinbaum has called his bluff. She has actually called his bluff. So there are no tariffs on the Mexican goods because he's about to do it, and then Claudia Sheinbaum warns him like, okay, you want to do the tariff? I'll match your tariffs dollar by dollar, and then he backs down. But that's only with with Claudia Sheinbaum that does happen. She keeps a couple of times she has called his bluff. The US is going down, and we will have to rely heavily on Russia. But yeah, but rely heavily on Russia for what exactly? Yeah, it is Putin's plan. It is something that may have been put in motion a long time ago. He won't get reflected. He will leave the country in shambles. Hmm. Well, the thing is that if Trump is trying to do some tariff war with China, China has already warned him that they can hit with tariffs of their own. Supposedly has resources. I know that they can do energy, but why would we depend on Russian energy when if Trump knew how to act, he could keep getting energy from Canada and from Mexico. No, I know they have well. They have oil. I know they have oil, but come on, you know how much more expensive the gallon of gas is gonna become if you have to import it all the way from Russia? I don't know. Something is gonna have to be worked out because, as we all know, if oil goes up, everything goes up, and we are gonna be screwed. I remember hearing years ago that China owned a lot of our debt, and they could try to collect on it at any point, at any moment. We're already over 30 trillion, over 30 trillion in debt. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. We're screwed. And China brought a lot of land to something that I have heard that many rich Chinese, have also done, which is something that is blamed on corporations, because it's true. They are to blame for it too. Is that, at least in the state of California, that rich Chinese buy up a lot of real estate, and those houses are just sitting there. Nobody is living in them. Those houses are just sitting there. Nice houses, and they buy all of that real estate and drive up the prices. I wouldn't even look that way if I wanted to get a house. Look at California? Hell no. Yeah, when it comes to also when it comes to the land, all of the geniuses that voted for Trump, that are farm owners, and they're gonna lose their farms, because before the change in the administration, they had deals with the government, signed contracts and all, in which the government will help them out financially in between seasons, so they can keep their farms operating. Well, what do you know? Now, with this current administration, they're sending them out letters talking about that they may not be able to meet They're agreements. They're the government. What the hell are they gonna do? A lot of farmers are gonna be a lot of farmers are gonna go bankrupt. There are people that have had their farms in their family for like 100, 200, 300 years, and they're gonna lose them, and they're gonna be forced to sell. They are gonna be forced to sell them to these corporations, and farming is gonna become privatized. That seems to be the plan. That seems to be the plan. Yeah, in a minute, in a minute. It's just that I wanted to get this out. Actually, it just so happens. Look at how smart they are. These are supposed to be the superior race. I'll drop the link in a moment, but first I want to share this because they're so superior. They're so superior. I see it, Jose. I see it. We'll talk in a moment. Well, I'm not hearing his name, but I know that he's somebody who volunteers opinions on other fields that are not his own, that he has no business talking about. Uh, okay, let me make sure that. All right. These are the geniuses. These are the superior race. Let's listen.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently, our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now.
I didn't even get to the part about the undocumented people that are working on this farm, which amount to about 65% of the labor force of these farms are people that are undocumented. And they enthusiastically voted for the deportation, not thinking that those same the deportations would apply to their workers. This is how smart they are.
We are going to go bankrupt. And we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported and he was coming after immigrants, yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
Oh, really? You think not only the government now is not honoring the contracts that they had with these farmers to help them keep their business running, because as you know, farming is seasonal. There are times of the season where they're not really producing anything, and they still have to be able to pay their bills. That's one thing. The other thing that they didn't foresee was the whole thing about the undocumented, the labor force. The ICE is out there. Somebody they're all out there willy-nilly chasing after the immigrants, all of the brown people. And that they didn't think about that it affecting them. They lost on 2 fronts. They shot twice themselves in the foot.
I'm so excited for everyone to call me a bad person again in my comments, but guess what? I do not care about Nebraska going bankrupt in 6 months. I do not care. I do not care. Maybe a few other of those red states should go bankrupt in 6 months so the blue states can swoop in to save them, so they can understand that we are not the bad ones. We are not the poor ones. We are not the ones who cannot survive under the orange turds' crazy policies. But you know why I don't feel bad for Nebraska? You know why? Because I believe I heard 65% of their workforce is undocumented people, which
What did I just say? It was something like 65 or 70%.
means they're not coming to work anymore, which means work's not happening, which means all the farmers in Nebraska are going to go bankrupt because they all went out there and voted against their neighbors. 65% of neighbors who are immigrants, okay? Fuck around and find out at this point. You know what I mean? And of course, I do feel bad for those blue people in Nebraska who did not vote for this. So unfortunate. That's what you get for being racist and not wanting immigrants in this country.
The best cases of Trump supporters suffering are always going to be the farmers to me, because they looked at the man that wanted to get rid of their entire workforce and they're like, my farm's failing. They know that their employees are basically all undocumented immigrants, and they voted for the man that's like, let's make sure you don't have them anymore. And then the better part is that they get subsidies from the government to keep their farms running, you know, to fuel society. And they're like, let's vote for the man that's going to take away the... You bitches better learn to pick some strawberries, so better grab a basket, bitch. I wish I could find undocumented immigrants just so they could buy out your farms. I want them to pay you like you pay them, but you gotta live in America like they do. Old McDonald had a farm, huh? Not if he voted for Trump.
Yeah. That's a hot mess. Yeah, more than half of the employees. I was just saying it. Taking the fund, yeah, because like what I was breaking down before, a lot of these farmers, we're talking about like 70% of the farmers, not just in Nebraska, in other parts of the country, they were mostly voting for Trump, even though these farmers were having, they had agreements with the government under Biden. They had signed contracts with for subsidies, helping with funding under Biden, but they were enthusiastically voting for Trump so they could get away with the illegals. Like I'm sure they miss them now. Now I'm gonna be bringing my first guest. What's going on, Jose?
Good evening, Ramon. Thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Thanks for coming up. Hey, really quick. Titi Yuyu, this is something I have already asked you before. This is something I wanted to ask if there was another New Yorker that could chime in on that. Titi, you being a New Yorker, Andrew Cuomo is running for mayor. He's running for mayor of New York. I don't know if you heard something about that. Maybe you can chime in about it and what you think about that. Hey, might as well. That's all I can say. Might as well. I know New York is it's not my city, but if they let a convicted felon become president, might as well let Andrew Cuomo get back into office, because he just stepped down. He wasn't charged with anything after all. I don't know, and he has some support. He does have some support.
Well, I have a lot of problems with Andrew Cuomo becoming mayor.
Uh-huh.
Okay. First of all, and let's disregard the allegations of sexual harassment, because people are innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter, the way he handled the situation with the elderly in the nursing homes during COVID, and basically lying about the figures, how many people died, he should have been arrested. He should have been in jail simply on that alone. But he also brought up a pension plan, which is the worst one for municipal employees.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with that plan is, first of all, not all your overtime gets counted into your pension. Your contribution vary depending on how much money you make, and
Mhm.
also another issue is the higher the income, the more you have to pay for your pension. So that alone is, and you'll find a lot of municipal employees that do not want Andrew Cuomo to become mayor. I would rather deal with 125-degree temperatures forever than to have him as mayor.
All right. Okay.
And you know how much I hate the heat.
How much you hate the heat?
Yes.
Okay. Tito, you haven't been a New Yorker, you know, but they came, my opinion. So they don't matter. You're from there.
Yes.
Hey, Irby,
And,
what's up?
hey, Urban, and of course, we haven't had a cold winter day this year.
It's starting to warm up here. I'm happy. It's been like at low 80s, low 80 degrees. Right now
Yeah.
it's like 75. Like right now it's like 75. That's nice. That's good. That gives me
That's
hope.
not nice. No, that's
It's
not. That's
starting to
depressing.
be starting to get back to how it's supposed to be.
Well, you know, on the first day of spring, I'm going to start my countdown to the first day of winter.
No. No, thanks. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that.
I mean, I always have this fantasy that I have complete control of the weather worldwide.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But
Let's hear a little more. Let's hear just a little more about the
Okay.
geniuses
yeah,
that voted against their own interest. Here we go.
A month in.
You want to get rid of illegal immigrants, quit eating. And that's for everybody. That's, nationwide. If you want to get rid of them, quit eating. That'll solve the problem.
But when only 5 pickers showed up this morning to harvest his sweet potatoes, farmer Keith Smith saw possible ruin, the loss of his $500,000 crop.
They're running scared because of this new law.
And you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble, bad trouble.
Smith's 200 acres need 20 pickers, mostly Mexican nationals.
There is not enough documented people here to supply that workforce.
Most of your workers are here illegally.
That's sure. If they got documentation, they got a better job working for me.
Fernando Aldeman, a Mexican national, has worked Smith's farm since 1992.
Everybody's just scared.
Yeah.
Now, are you here legally? No.
No.
So, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared, you know.
Smith's pickers make about $100 a day. He supports immigration laws, just not this one that threatens his third-generation family.
Okay, that's the thing. If you have
oh
to
my
support,
goodness.
you can't be convenient when it comes to that. Only supporting what doesn't affect you, but it affects others. Now, the one thing that I will agree, and this is something that you, Jose, have talked about, is that the guy that just said that he's been working in that same field since 1992. Okay, what has been happening in all of these 33 years? What is it, 33 years that he's been working in the same place and never did anything about his status? I mean, he could have at least tried to find a way to upgrade his status so he could work in the country. I mean,
This is a point that not only did I made, but another content creator also made this point as well. Now, this is the thing. You've been in this country for over 30 years. You mean to tell me you did not do anything? You could not do anything to try to legalize your status? Where there's so many different agencies that are out there to help people legalize your status, or actually get an attorney that do pro bono work
Yeah.
to try to change your status. And this is the issue. This person has been in this country over 30 years.
No, and to be go on.
Yeah. And you didn't even make an effort at all.
Maybe it's not so easy to do that in a place like Nebraska, but I can assure you, if he had been here in Texas, all he had to do was listen to the radio in Spanish, and eventually he was going to hear an advertisement for immigration attorneys. And I don't know, maybe in Nebraska he wouldn't have gotten that access to that. Maybe that's not available so much in Nebraska, but at least here in Texas, you listen to Spanish language radio, and eventually you're going to hear an advertisement for immigration attorneys. And I'm sure you hear a lot of that in your city too.
I mean, look, okay, now, just in New York alone, okay, now I know people are taking shots in New York and whatever, but the fact of the matter is, you do have agencies like Catholic Charities. You also have organizations that do provide legal counsel to help with your status, okay? Or if you're, or you can even marry an American, whatever.
Well, I know for a fact that marriage is the quickest way to do it, but that's still like a 7 to 10 year process. Anybody who says otherwise is lying. They don't know what they're talking about, because I have seen online people that say, "Oh, I helped this couple that was here on a visa. I helped them with the paperwork, and in 6 months they were citizens." Bullshit. It doesn't work like that.
No. You're not going to become a citizen in 6 months. You might become a resident.
I know that.
In 6 months, maybe.
No, I know that. It's just that there are people that tell that bold-faced lie, because most people don't understand the immigration process.
Yeah. It's kind of like when people watch like 90 Day Fiance and they think, oh, that if your fiance becomes a citizen automatically. No, your fiance becomes a resident. And actually, for the first few months, that person is not able to work until they get their green card.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as voting against your interests, did we talk about this extensively last year?
Yeah, I mean, because
how many?
Florida.
How many streams did I did last year alone?
And I talked a little bit about it. Last year, you guys remember that last year we were talking about what was happening in Florida at the time. They passed some some law, some act, some measure to prohibit employing people without papers. But that was like last year. And they had to roll that back, because what happened is that when they announced that in the state of Florida, people left. The workers left for somewhere else. And it's happening again, because Ron DeSantis didn't learn the first time. And he passed that immigration law because apparently his boss in the White House told him to. And what's happening is happening the same thing again. The construction sites are empty. The farm fields are empty. A lot of the hospitality that Florida needs, it's empty. Nobody's showing up. We've been talking about this since a year. Yeah, Titi, you remember? I mean, we're just gonna be regurgitating the same thing over again. But now it's worse, because now Agent Orange is weaponizing ICE. Now they're out there just like, it's like slave patrols, chasing after people, chasing after kids in school. I don't know if they have gone as far as to raid the school buses, because there was a threat. There there was a threat that they were gonna be doing that. They did try to get into that elementary school in Chicago, but the teachers didn't let them in because they didn't even have a warrant, and they have arrested a few Puerto Ricans. They have arrested Puerto Ricans, assuming that they have been illegal. But what right now kind of worries me is what happens to that guy, to the Palestinian guy, Mahmoud Khalil. Even though he has a green card, he was snatched by ICE, and nobody knows where he is. That's some Gestapo shit. The same Gestapo shit that I warned about, that I talked about it. We talked about it.
Would you believe that Trump is blaming Biden for all the economic problems?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like, dude, all this happened under your watch.
No, but of
Biden-
course it's gonna be flat. Of course, he's gonna be blaming somebody else. He still blames things on Obama. There are things that he's still blaming Obama for, even though he inherited a great economy. I mean, of course, Obama wasn't perfect, but the economy was stable, and he screwed it up. Added $4 trillion in debt in 4 years. No, was it 4 or was it 8? Which is worse, even. In one term, he added all of those trillions of dollars, and now in one day, the Dow Jones went down what, $3.5 trillion, like in 1 or 2 days. I mean, and blaming everything on Biden. Oh, that was because the Bidenflation or something like that. No, not Bidenflation, Trumpflation.
Yeah, but let's keep it real. The one that's really running the country is Elon Musk.
He needs to be deported. Because there is the allegation that he got into the country illegally. So his citizenship is fraudulent. I mean, he has no business in the White House making decisions and getting people from the government fired. Him? Who the fuck is he?
Well, you know what? This is the type of stuff that we were warning people last year, but no one paid attention. Okay, and this is the thing. We all remember what happened under Trump the first time, particularly under COVID. But yet people decided to have, well, you know what? Let's make the country worse again and vote this person into the White House again.
Yeah. No, and he dropped the ball with the whole thing about COVID, because it was like the first 6 or 7 months, he denied it. That there was a problem, that there was a pandemic, that he denied it. It was only up and down in July, in July of 2020. That's when he did something called Operation Warp Speed and came out with the trials for the vaccine after not doing anything. You know that they were putting all the blame on Biden for that, but he fucked it up. He messed up the response, and there was actually a pandemic response team that was set up by Obama back in like 2015, and 2-3 years later, what did Trump do? Disbanded. I mean, like it was as if he knew what was going to happen. Back in 2018, he fired everybody in the pandemic response team, so there was no pandemic response team when the pandemic happened that could have helped curb so many deaths. It's like as if he knew that it was going to happen, as if it was planned. Yeah, it may have come out of China. Yes, it may have been, but why disband the pandemic response team?
I'll do one better. How about coming up with a national policy to deal with COVID? I mean, what happened was you have several states, each have put in their own individual policies. Some states are not taking the pandemic seriously, and then states like New York that went overboard. I mean, we was on lockdown for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and in several places around the world. Now, I don't have a problem with taking precautions on things, but there were some instances in which, because maybe we didn't have full knowledge of what we were dealing with, then maybe they could have ended up going overboard. With limiting access to places, and of course there were certain people, the Karens were taking it all personal. They wanted to do whatever. They didn't want to wear a mask, and they just didn't want to follow protocols. Not to mention all the people that died still believing that they had something else, that it wasn't COVID, or that the COVID was a democratic invention or something like that. When people are fanatical, there is nothing you can do.
Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, let me tell you something. And then you have the CDC coming, changing their policy. First of all, they didn't want people to wear masks at all.
Uh-huh.
Then they wanted people to wear masks. Then you have to wear a disposable mask under an undisposable mask. Then they say, if you got vaccinated, you didn't have to wear a mask. Then they said, well, you know what? Even though you got vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. So basically, you have different policies and things. So it's like people didn't know what to do. I mean, at one point, I was actually going outside with 2 masks, a pair of gloves, and a face shield.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. I can only imagine how it would have been for you. I was wearing a mask. I did have to wear a mask indoors when I was at work and all. But a few people did get it. Thankfully, nobody passed away because of it. But several coworkers of mine did catch it. So I do think it was a real thing. It was something really to worry. But they weren't mandating the masks everywhere. But the thing is that too many people did pass away because of that. What was it, like 1 million people?
More than
more than 1 million people ended up losing their lives. But I think some of those lives could have been saved if the so-called president would have actually done something about it. Because remember, it was election year. It was 2020, that was election year. So Trump was still in office. So that was his thing. Yeah. It wasn't not everywhere, not everywhere, and nobody was required to take the vaccine. Nobody was really required down here.
Well,
I did take it because I was about to go on a trip back in 2021.
Well, here in New York, hundreds of municipal employees got fired for refusing to take the vaccine.
Yeah. No, I can understand. I can understand that some people, but one cannot intentionally be so anti-vaccine that you are risking your life, because that's kind of what is happening with the measles now. Because there are cases of measles happening here in East Texas, I understand. And I understand that there is an effective vaccine for it that actually works. It's not some poison or some government conspiracy, because that's the problem with Kennedy, that is now the head of Health and Human Resources. He's a raging anti-vaxxer. So he's telling people to give the kids with the measles cod liver oil as a remedy, instead of getting them a natural vaccine. To give them cod liver oil.
Well, look, we have.
That's not somebody that should be heading that department. It surprises me that we still have a CDC, because that could be next. That could be the next thing that they disband, and we are more vulnerable.
Okay, first of all, you have a woman who's in charge of the Department of Education, that has no background with education. You have all these people in one of these governments agencies that have no background, no knowledge whatsoever. So you're talking about draining the swamp. Basically, he just filled the swamp with more swamp-like people.
Yeah, yeah, he's flooding it. He's not draining it, he's flooding it. He's making the problem worse.
Yeah. But look, that's why I should be president, and the campaign should be "Let's make America cold again."
Jose, that's not gonna help. maybe you could go to Alaska. Maybe be the governor of Alaska. Maybe I don't know if Sarah Palin is still there. she's still the governor up there.
Actually,
maybe
I
you could
don't think I think someone else is the governor.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay.
I mean, think about it. You can be in my administration.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you could be in charge
Uh-huh.
of the Department of Winter Advocacy.
Of winter what? Advocacy?
Advocacy.
No. Summertime advocacy. That's more like it.
I mean, think about it. You can go out and campaign regarding the joy of enjoying a nice cold wintry day.
No. No. Not for me. Not for me. You were asking about the image that I have on my avatar. Let me see if I can share an image. Hang on. Okay. Does it show? Oh, this isn't showing. I opened this tab a while back.
Sometimes it takes a while for the image to load.
Oh. Because this is on the Discover Puerto Rico site. Oh. This is Monumento a la Herencia Taína. It's a monument to Taíno heritage. Let me see if I can find another. For some reason, the actual image isn't opening. Let me see if I can find another one. Okay.
There once was a spot from Jamaica, Queens, who went by the name of New York.
Sorry.
Okay. I heard that. Going from Jamaican Queens, going by the name of what?
Actually, I was
Putting
going
you on
into
the
my
spot.
into my TikTok account.
Okay. So this is kind of like, this is what you see when you enter the town of Caguas. When you enter through via the north entrance, when you follow the old road to Caguas, and when you enter town from the north, then you see this fountain with this monument. This is a taína. Yeah, I remember taking pictures of it years ago, and that's what I'm using to. That's what I'm using as as my avatar. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This avatar that you see here, that's from my other YouTube channel, which is called Latina Diaspora.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay, so let's see if I can just a little more of the whole crime that the Nebraskans are doing. Yeah. Just a little more, because this is it's sad, but it's funny at the same time. I mean, I'm not celebrating, but yeah, it's like, yeah, people told them.
For the rest of America, does anyone even care about Nebraska? Does anyone even care? Do you care about Nebraska? Because I have a feeling you voted for this. I mean, Nebraskans don't even care about Nebraska. Let me ask you another question. Who exactly did you think were going to work in the fields and in the farms after all of the regular day laborers, people of color, are no longer there anymore? Who did you think was going to do it? Did you think that there was just this army of white workers ready to get into those farms and pick all the vegetables?
Hell
Now,
no.
people like you who voted for this to happen are upset that something's affecting you, because what people like you tend to really vote for, it's not the economy. It's because you want to express racism and bigotry, and he was the only way that you could do that. But now it's affecting you. All those farms are disappearing, including that 300-year-old farm. And you want to know why nobody's upset at that? It's because you guys did it to yourself. You'd rather vote to have your racism easily spread across the United States instead of thinking about yourself, because you always vote against your own interests, don't you? And isn't it just like you? You voted to hurt other people, but now when it's starting to hurt you, you want us to feel sympathetic for you.
Hello, and welcome.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Is that, I mean, I'm not trying to get somebody to cancel me and say, if you don't like it, get out of the country. But something that is particular of the United States is the culture of individualism. I mean, like, care about you, fuck everybody else. That's the impression that I'm getting. Like, whoever can get what they can get, and it doesn't matter how they can hurt other people. I can't be like that. I can't be like that. Even though I don't know any of these people and other people that wanted the country to do better. I wanted getting where you fit in. There are people that have this in the self-centered individualism, where it's only them that matters to them, and their fellow person, their fellow man and woman, their fellow human being, and they claim to be so Christian, and that's what gets me, because I'm not a Christian. I don't follow religion, but I will never want other people to just go on there unnecessarily. I mean, but all of these people that were thinking only about themselves, that they thought that the vote that they were doing was going to benefit them and it was going to harm someone else, now it's like doing the boomerang thing.
Well, as the only Christian on the panel, okay. I take a huge issue with that. I mean, look, one thing, and people fail to understand, is this: this is a country of immigrants. Okay, everybody came from somewhere. Even the so-called indigenous people, they came from other countries. So really, there's no such thing as a native-born American. We all come from somebody else, from somewhere else. And of course, one thing that people don't like to admit is that this country has a long history of not dealing with people who are different very well. And it all started back in 1619 when we brought in the so-called indentured servants, which were actually became slaves for 250 years. And then you follow it up with the way that we treated with the so-called indigenous people. We took their land, we stole their land, we killed their people, we filled them with unknown diseases and what have you. And then you follow up with how Catholics were discriminated with for a long time. Then you follow out with basically every other group that came here. We treated them like crap. So, it's just that this country has a long history of not dealing with the people who are different very well, including the LGBTQ plus community. Now, I have a lot of issues with them, but even with them, I have a right to live their life as I see fit, as long as they don't try to enforce their views on other people.
Right. No, definitely. Because something that the right wingers and the MAGA start clinging on to is the whole trans issue. I get it. I get it. To a degree, I actually get it. I don't completely disagree because somebody who is claiming to be trans, they have no business being in a woman's bathroom, restroom, locker room. They have no business being there. I mean, the gender is biology. That's not feelings. I get it. I get it. But they start bringing up the whole thing about the whole so-called trans wanting to play in female sports. Now, the NCAA has like half a million athletes. Out of those half a million athletes, it's like less than 100 of them that they claim to be trans. So it's not this widespread problem.
Did you watch the state of the what I call the state of confusion address
No,
that Trump
hell
did?
no. I have seen some breakdowns, but I didn't watch that. I mean, I'm trying to keep my sanity here.
Okay, first of all, now how could you have transgender mice?
Yeah. That's something that Agent Orange said in that address, and the magas ran with it because they don't fact check anything. What he was talking about was something that had to do with some studies on transgenic mice, transgenic, not transgender. That's something else entirely. That they were doing some experiments, and I think that they were transferring some genes, some human genes, into mice, and they were doing experiments on them. But it was about transgenic, not transgender. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so, and the thing is that Trump saying something that $8 million were wasted on that study, and it was about changing the gender of mice, and they spent $8 million on it. And the magas heard that and ran with it, and they didn't fact check it. It was some experiments that had to do with mice, yes, but it wasn't about changing gender on them. It was something else entirely about transgenic mice.
Yeah, but remember, we're talking about the person they're talking about in Ohio that the illegal migrants were eating the cats and eating the dogs.
Yeah, the same person that was saying that never turned out to be true, because I have seen videos of people after that statement was made, people that went to Springfield, Ohio, and they were asking people about it, and that was debunked right there. Now, they did talk about other issues that they were having in Springfield, Ohio, but that was quickly done away with. It. Nobody was eating people's pets. They did talk about other issues that they have, because at one point there was a manufacturing town, and it was booming and it was doing well, but they took the manufacturing. It was like so many places in the country. They took the manufacturing and sent it somewhere else, and the town started declining. And when the Haitians showed up, the thing is that too many Haitians showed up at the same time, and that put a strain on the limited resources of the town, because a lot of these people may not speak English, and it did put a strain at first of the resources. But these were people that did come to work, and the people that couldn't work, it was because they didn't have a permit yet, even though they were in the country legally, but they needed to get a permit so they could labor, so they could work. But it was also that too many Haitians showed up at once, and on a town that already had limited resources, and that's what they were talking about. And the white people that were in that town, they were assuming that the Haitians showed up and they will immediately put on welfare, because that's the typical assumption, that somebody who doesn't have papers can come here and be on welfare and be on Medicaid And that generally is not true. There may be exceptions. There could be exceptions to it. I don't know how that works. But they were making an assumption, and the journalist that was making the documentary was telling them, look, these people that are not entitled to welfare. I mean, undocumented people, they don't get welfare. So it was like, no, these people they're just trying to come in they're trying to work, they're trying to earn a living.
Yeah.
And they were paying taxes. These people that were on that temporary status, and they were legal, and they were working, and they were paying taxes too, which is something that the town desperately needed.
I mean, you have to be a resident in the country for 5 years to be eligible for full welfare and food stamps and Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get it like automatically.
Right.
But then again, why tell the truth when you can basically lie and talk and talk and just demonize people that look different from you.
And the thing is that my understanding that there is an exception to that, particularly with the Cubans in Miami. I think those are the ones that when they get there, like they get residency shortly after, and then they can get Medicaid, they can get welfare, and they can get other assistance to them because they're Cuban. They're the ones that get the big exceptions, and they come to, and the thing is that the reason that they came to the country was because of democratic legislation, the Cuban Adjustment Act. But they get to the country, and they become Republican. And many of them are learning the hard way. They're learning the hard way because there are some of them that are being arrested and deported along with the Venezuelans. Now, I don't know what has happened to them. I think they rolled back some of that. But I haven't heard about the Venezuelans lately. So I don't know what happened to them. I know that they were about to deport like over 200,000 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard too much about them as well. So.
Uh-huh. Yeah. There is also the whole thing about him wanting to make English the only legal language, something like that.
The official language.
The official language in the country. Yeah. Because if you look at in the Constitution, you're not gonna find anything about language, and I think that was intentional. That they could have made it part of the Constitution, but it's not anywhere. I already looked. So I think that was intentional because from the very beginning, there were different types of Europeans that spoke different language. It would have been discriminatory to say that only English can be spoken here.
Yeah. And people, and again, people forget this is a country of immigrants. But then again, remember, Trump knows everything.
Oh yeah. He knows it all, and the MAGAs think so. He knows it because he says so, and the MAGAs believe it. And you can't reason with a MAGA. They're a cult. They're a cult. Because everything he said, everybody, all of the MAGAs immediately believe it. It's like the whole thing about the mice that we just talked about. They heard that, and they ran with it without fact checking. You lose money. To imposing English only anything. The thing is that my understanding is that when you teach the kids in school another language, that's actually beneficial to their intelligence. So there is a benefit to it. So that shouldn't be imposed, and definitely not religion, because I give you know that Trump says a whole bunch of shit, and they were talking about that. Bringing Christianity into the schools and all because it's a Christian country. Yeah. They kind of want it to be like Russia because the MAGA see Russia as a white ethno state, Christian white ethno state. Now it's kind of like Orthodox Christian, I think. That's what it is in
They're Russian Orthodox Christian.
Russian Orthodox and as a white ethno state. So that's kind of what the MAGAs want for here, it seems. Yeah. If you want immigrant dollars, speak their language. Yeah. It's just that there are the nationalists that say, "Oh, this is America. Speak American. We speak American here. So you don't like it? Get out here."
Yeah, and what's a funny thing is that there is no such thing in American language, because you have Native American communities. They all speak different languages. But that's neither here nor there. So, but if we can change the subject just a little bit, would you believe I have a short video on TikTok that's gotten over 4,000 views?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. The Soviet Union, I don't think they ever really stopped being Christians. I remember seeing the War and Peace movie. It's not one movie. It's divided in like 4 parts, and there is one part when the Russians of the time were about to go to war with Napoleon. They were all praying and doing the cross over them, kind of like because they were about to go to war. I don't think they ever really got rid of Christianity in Russia, and I think Christianity is very much alive and well. It's just that I think the Soviet Union was kind of like neutral when it comes to religion. Yeah. Okay. When they say English only, they think that only affects Hispanics. There are many ethnicities in the U.S. that speak many different languages. Look, when it comes to the so-called illegal immigration, it's not just Mexicans. I mean, there have been. I was just hearing about it this morning that in Florida, ICE detained a couple of bands that a Cuban and a Puerto Rican were driving, but the bands were full of Chinese. But they were full of Chinese, undocumented. So it's not just Hispanic. That now, if they try to make like English only by law, it will target only us. Trust and believe. It will target only us, Spanish speakers. I mean, because that's the one that they don't like. They don't understand. Spanish is what, the 3rd most spoken language in the world. There are thousands of them. Spanish is number 3. So it is in the best interest of the country to understand that it's part of this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you believe so far this month I've gained 18 subs on my main channel?
That you have what?
That I've gained 18 subs this month on my main channel.
Well, yeah, I need to. That's good. Yeah, you're well over 500 or so.
Yeah, I'm at 544.
Good. That's good. That's good. I think I'm stuck at 80 because I'm so consistent. That's on me.
Yeah, well, it just, I know it could be hard because you go live, and the next thing you know, you have like 2 or 3 people online that's live at the same time.
There was I'm see that Ukrainians are being mentioned. Yeah, they were saying that they were gonna deport like 240,000 Ukrainians. I doubt it because they're white. I doubt it. But then again, I mean, the Agent Orange hates Ukraine. He has to hate Ukraine, even though Ukraine hasn't done anything to him. But he hates Ukraine. So there was talk that they were going to deport the Ukrainians in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. These are white people, so I don't think it's going to happen.
But you know what the secret is to be consistent creating content.
I know. No, I know. It's true.
And what makes it hard is Don Armando is live tonight as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. But that's the thing. I had to look up. I had to look up at your page to see if you were gonna be on tonight, too. And okay, let's do this. I'm not planning it. Very quickly. I did the thumbnail and set it up. Let me hurry up. Let me hurry up before Jose changes his mind and does a live stream. And I was racing back to it.
I mean, wouldn't that be fun to 1 week actually do a stream every day in the week?
Okay. Well, you have the energy for that. You have the energy for it.
I mean, believe it or not, I only go live like 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I need to do like at least twice or so. If I could do twice, that would be an improvement. I will be doing much better.
Oh, you try to do some shorts.
I know about the shorts. But it's just that maybe I have an idea, but I'm in the middle of something and working or something like that, and then I end up I don't write anything down, and I end up forgetting about it. So I guess I'm gonna have to. I have to get to it. And I have done a few shorts that they do get a few views. So yeah, I have to get back to that.
I mean, I got a couple of shorts that gotten over 1,000 views. I have a couple that's gotten like over 5,000.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Man. So what else? What else? Because there is so much going on. Okay, we covered the whole thing about the Teslas. We talked a little bit about the whole state of the state of confusion address. We talked about the whole thing with the deportation. They snatched that Palestinian, I think Palestinian Middle Eastern, that was leading the protest against the genocide in Gaza. And ICE snatched him up. And this is somebody who has a green card.
Mm-hmm.
And they still are talking about that they're going to deport him. I mean, so much for freedom of speech.
But you know something that happened during the State of the Confusion address?
Uh-huh.
There was this kid, 13 years old,
mm-hmm.
that fought brain cancer.
Yeah.
Survived it. Okay. And that his desire is to become part of law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Donald Trump made him an honorary member of the Secret Service.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe not one Democratic politician actually got up and applauded this kid?
Because they were using the kid. I don't blame them.
Okay, but you know something? Even if that was the case, and now I have a sibling that died from stage 4 lung cancer. You mean you could not? You mean your hatred of Trump is so much that you could not even get up and applaud? You couldn't even sit down and applaud this kid beating cancer.
I will congratulate the kid in private, but I wouldn't give him that. I wouldn't give him a win there, because that's what it was about. It wasn't about the kid. He doesn't give a shit about the kid. He was using him to make himself look good.
Okay, but you know what?
I wouldn't take the bait. No.
Okay, but you know what?
I know why the Democrats didn't stand up and applaud. They weren't gonna give him that win.
Okay, but I mean, think about it. You are a 13-year-old kid. and you fought a deadly disease and survived it.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't even you couldn't get past your hatred of Trump and just say, you know what?
But listen to yourself. Listen to what you're saying. You're sounding like the MAGAs that try to shame somebody like myself that doesn't give him an inch or anything. That's what they say. Oh, your hatred. You have so much hate in your heart. Why do you have so much hate in your heart for the president? This and that. That's kind of what you're sounding like.
No,
that's a shaming tactic.
No, first of all, okay, again, we're talking about a child that beat brain cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You couldn't like saying we're proud of you because she actually overcame a deadly disease.
I will say I'm proud of you to the kid directly, to the kid. I will say to the kid, absolutely. But I wouldn't stand up and applaud that display of using the kid as a human shield, because that's what that was about. It's kind of like when Elon was enter the White House with his son. That's him using that's a human shield for criticism. That's to shield himself of criticism, because if you criticize somebody who has his son, you are gonna look like an asshole. That's what that was.
Okay, but you know what? There's a big difference with Elon Musk bringing his kid to the White House.
They're using children as deflectors for criticism.
Okay, okay. Let's put aside what we feel about Trump for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a child that overcame a deadly disease. You cannot compare.
I get it. Not at that time. Not at that display. Not in the middle of the address. No, because that's giving Trump a win. I wouldn't give him a win. He was using it for.
But you know what?
He was using the kid as a political pawn. He was using the kid.
Okay, but you know what? You have to like take politics all.
Okay, yeah, but you're not. It is politics. It is politics. It was politics. Bringing that kid on stage in front of the assembly, it was political. It was political. It was about using the kid to make himself look good. 100% political.
Okay, that's one. See, that's one way to interpret. That's one way to interpret it.
No,
the way I see. Okay, the way I see. Okay, the way I see it is this way. Here's a child that beat a deadly disease.
Okay, you don't have to keep saying that. I get it.
No, but you know what? I mean, it has to be said. It has to be said because you know why? Because you are equating what Elon Musk bring his kid to the White House.
Yes.
The same as a child beating cancer.
He could have okay, you're not understanding. You're not getting me. You're not getting me.
I am getting it.
No, but he was using the kid for political theater to make himself look good.
Okay, but you know what? Even
he was using him. He didn't give a shit about the kid.
Even if that was the case, the fact of the matter is this, and again, we're talking about a child that beat a deadly disease when he was diagnosed.
You're not getting me. You're not getting it.
I am getting it. Okay.
No, but you want me to agree that they should have clapped for Trump. They would have been clapping for Trump, not for the kid.
I'm not talking about clapping for Trump. I'm talking about clapping.
It would have been a win. They weren't gonna give him the win. It would have been a win for him. Something that the Republicans wouldn't have done. If it had been Biden that had done exactly the same thing, he would have gotten a ton of criticism for the same thing that I'm trying to break down to you.
Okay, I get it, believe it or not, I get it. But what the point is this: we're talking. Okay, even that was the
Okay,
case.
don't say it again. You don't have to keep saying it. You don't have to keep saying. You were about to say it again. You were about to say we are talking about a child that beat a deadly disease. You were about to say it again. No, don't say it again. I get it.
Well,
I get
I mean, and you know what? And I made a point about this on my platform. I mean,
it was manipulative. It was manipulation.
okay,
Him
well, you
bringing
know
that
what?
kid up and giving him that honorary law enforcement title, that was very manipulative. That was to make himself look good.
Look, as a person that have a lot of issue with Trump, okay, I did not vote for him the last 2 times.
Okay.
But but even the fact of the matter, that was one of the few feel good moments. Okay. And again, I get it. But I think one thing we should applaud the child's courage.
I wasn't gonna. I wouldn't have applauded in front of the old guy.
Okay,
I keep telling you, it was about Trump trying to give himself a win. It was bait. It was manipulative.
Okay. Wow.
It was manipulative. I'm standing on that. Because remember, he was talking. He was bringing that kid that beat cancer. These are the same people that caught funding for cancer research. You don't think that had anything to do with it? You really don't think that had anything to do with it?
You know what? I'm sure.
He was covering for that.
Okay, I'm sure that is the case.
No, that was the case. That was the case. He pulled funding for cancer research. And at the same time, but he did that as a distraction to get people to forget about that.
No, I don't think people should forget about it. Okay, I don't think people should forget about it. But just as the same vote, just as the same thing, they should not forget about what the child has overcome.
What?
But we're going to disagree, and let's just keep it that way.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't think you are getting what I'm saying. I don't think you're not getting.
No, I think I am getting what you're saying.
I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue.
I'm not want to argue. I mean, I'm just all I'm saying is that yes, the fact of the matter is, the fact is very hypocritical that he actually taking away billions of funding regarding cancer research because Elon Musk says so.
All the more reason why I can't give him the win. Because what he did was hypocritical. You are damn right. That's why I'm not going to give him the win. And the Democrats didn't give him the win. Because that comment came out. It mentioned that they mentioned that, okay, he was bringing this kid up on stage in front of everybody while his administration was pulling funding for cancer research. I mean, that was a distraction.
That's just okay. That's just say we're going
to go. No, if they go low, I go underground. I'm not Michelle Obama. Absolutely not.
Well, anyway,
good for the kid. Definitely good for the kid. Happy for the kid. Definitely. Listen. Good for the kid to have survived, to have beaten cancer. But I wouldn't have given Trump the win either. Hell no.
Okay, well. Let's just say we're going to disagree and just move on. That's all.
Yeah. Sure thing.
Okay. But in any case, I mean, look, hopefully, and I'm stretching it. Hopefully, that when it comes to the midterms next year,
Mm-hmm.
people would not forget all this. But you know what's going to happen? People are going to forget all about this, and they're going
Mm-hmm.
to vote, and they're going to make some same stupid voice choices, and then they're going to complain about the politicians that they voted for,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because
I'm gonna
people suffer from selective amnesia.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We know that. We know that too many people have very selective amnesia or short memories. They don't remember things from like a year or 2 years ago.
No,
We
and believe me,
we have to deal with that. That's unfortunate, but that's a problem.
yeah. I mean, the people 6 months from now, people are going to forget all this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
they're going to blame everybody but the current administration that's doing this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But but changing the subject, it's soon going to be baseball season.
Already?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the summer is coming up, so it's gonna be baseball. Okay. Good. Good.
well, hopefully my Yankees will actually this time win the World Series. It'll be nice.
Okay. Maybe some other team. Always the Yankees. I know.
Come
I
on, we
know.
haven't won the World Series since 2009. What you talking about?
Well, 2000. That's not too bad.
That's like 15 years ago.
Yeah. And still, there are so many other teams that main have. I don't think they have ever won. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
I'm partial. I'm partial for the Braves. I used to follow the Braves when I was a kid. Hmm.
yeah,
I used to like
well,
that team back then, back in the 90s. Yeah, they were pretty good.
yeah. I mean, look, I just think it'll be nice to see the Yankees finally win the World Series, um,
Hmm.
and then I can be proud of my Yankees.
So the arch rivals are like the Red Sox, something like that.
Well, I mean, we have certain rivalries like the Red Sox or the Mets, the Dodgers, considering that they look. Shout out
They
to the
did
Dodgers.
win. Yeah, they
Shout out
did
to the.
win.
I mean, shout out to the Dodgers. I mean, they did it better. They played better baseball than the Yankees did.
All right. Okay.
So hey, it can't. I mean, it is. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, speaking about it, I'm gonna be live tomorrow night on my other channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be talking about some of the issues adapting to life in the United States.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So,
Well, actually, because I don't want this to go on too long, like if there anything else that you wanted to add to the combo.
you know what? I think I'm still getting over the fact that your doctor passed away. I have a feeling there might have been some health issues that that because people usually young don't
Mm-hmm.
die um, all of a sudden unless there's some sort of unknown medical issue.
Yeah, something that has to do with family history, something sudden. Because the guy was fairly young. I mean, he wasn't an old guy. I mean, he did. I do think that he was younger than me. So I do wonder what could happen. Of course, I didn't ask. I didn't ask, but yeah, that came in as a shock.
Well, the fact of the matter is tomorrow is not promised to anybody. Today we're alive
Mhm.
and tomorrow we're not. I mean, that's why um, it's very important, that to try to take care of your health. When I mean your health, I'm not talking about your physical health. I'm also talking about your mental health.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. 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 I think about that. And mental health is very important too. Physical
Oh,
health is important, but mental health in the crazy times that we're living right now, definitely we need to take care of that too. I agree. I
yeah.
agree.
Now, before I forget, our friend Multi has a new channel and she changed her name. She's now known as Dreaming of Reality.
Dreaming of reality. Ah, I see. Dreaming of reality. Yeah, I dream that my reality will be me at the beach or something.
Well, of course,
That would
my
be a
reality.
very nice reality. No, you go to Alaska. You go to the North Pole or something, and you freeze your ass off. That's good. That's
See,
good enough for you.
my dreaming is that I have complete climate control of the weather.
Uh-huh. Sure,
And,
of course.
and I make Texas colder than New York.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
No.
I
Hell
mean,
no.
think about it. Imagine Texas when it's like 0 with a good gust of wind.
Mm-hmm. No. No. Oh no. It's warming up, and I'm happy about that. So I don't want to think about it. I don't care.
Or,
I don't care. So
or imagine Puerto Rico, 20 degrees.
okay. All right. So
Or the DR, 20 degrees.
no, tropical paradise. You don't want to mess that up. No, don't mess it up.
But well, hopefully, like I said, I think my lady's planning to come over next summer. I think she's talking about staying in New York for a whole month. So of course, I'm gonna show her around, show her some of the cultural sites, take her to a couple of nice Dominican restaurants, and of course take her to see some of the beaches where maybe they're not exactly like the beaches in the DR, but they're nice.
No. They're dirty. They're like brown, dirty water. No. Don't take it to that. That's not nice.
Come on. Particularly Orchard Beach. There's like outdoor concerts, and you go to the beach, and then you go into the water, and you can see the crystal blue water over there. Makes you think that you're in Puerto Rico or in the Caribbean somewhere.
Okay. All right. So, any last words?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for allowing me on your platform. And of course, I would encourage everyone, if you have not done so, please subscribe to the Introvert Boricua. He does have some great content. The only problem is, of course, not everyone can create content on a regular basis. It's a challenge. And of course, if you have not done so, please subscribe to Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. I do prepare content on a regular basis. And, I do try to keep it entertaining, things of that nature, and informative. So with that, thank you very much. And of course, the playback end, do your thing. Just make sure, keep your comments respectable, and we'll do this again real soon.
Definitely, Jose. Thank you for coming up to the live. I can't do a backstage because I do have to make a phone call. I have a missed call that I have to.
No problem.
Yeah. But we're gonna do this again, and then maybe we may be able to do a proper backstage, because I know that you do proper backstage, but I do have to take care of this. So
No problem. So anyway, take care and have a good night.
all right, you too. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
And with that said, I wanna thank Titi Yuyu and Irving for coming into the comments and contribute, making their comments. That helps keeping the conversation going. And I don't know when I'm gonna be doing another streams. Hopefully soon. Hopefully I can do some more consistency. But until then, this was Introvert Boricua, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one, most likely soon. Until then, peace.